They go, and I'll do 5 seconds again.
There we go, that's you.
Oh, thank you, Claire, and good morning to everybody, those that are joining us live and those that are watching the recording later. If you are joining live, can we just ask that you have your microphones off so we don't have any feedback? And because this is being recorded, if you don't particularly want your video to be shown, can you make sure that you either let us know or that you hide your camera? So welcome to the Business Administration awareness session for the Higher Apprenticeship, which is level 4. My name is Sue Holdsworth and I am the team leader for work-based business for Group Foundation Mae, and I'm responsible for the business admin customer service routes. My colleague Glenn Robinson is here as well. She assesses on these routes, she helps with our quality checking, and she's also the tutor for the taught sessions. Now, today we're going to be talking specifically about the higher apprenticeships. But there are some other funding mechanisms available, but I'll touch on those later. So what is a higher apprenticeship? The higher apprenticeship combines on-the-job training with studying towards a high-level recognised, industry-recognised qualification as an alternative to traditional higher education academic routes. It's for individuals in the workplace who are keen to progress their professional and career prospects. The level 4 is aimed at people who are working in a business-focused role who are able to complete complex business functions, monitor staff, and implement change. For those that have actually gone through the level 2 to level 3 route, you might remember this as a level 2, you'd identify a problem. As a level 3, you'd perhaps suggest a solution to the problem, but for the level 4, you actually need to be able to put the problem into focus and create a solution, put the solution into place and monitor it. So that just kind of gives you a bit of a differentiation between the levels. The Business Administration Higher Apprenticeship Framework is a collection of 3 types of qualification. It's been agreed and set out by the Council for Administration with employer involvement, and as we say, it's funded by the Welsh Government. Terms and conditions, but the main one being that you work more than 16 hours and you're in paid employment. There are, as I say, 3 main elements to it. We have the performance element, which is the Business Administration Diploma. Old-fashioned terms, it's the MBQ, but these days it's called a work-based diploma. That is based on what you do in your job role, which is why you need to be in the position to be able to meet the criteria for the level 4. There is a knowledge element, which is where Glenn comes in, because Glenn teaches this. In the old world, it was a face-to-face teaching session. At the moment, they are all being delivered remotely for obvious reasons. And then we have essential skills. Now, if for any reason you are not in the job role at the moment, but you are aspiring to become a level 4 administrator, you could undertake the knowledge element, which is a BTEC professional qualification, as a standalone qualification, because that will give you the knowledge that you need to be able to then get into the level 4 role, where you could then undertake the performance elements of the framework. Now, as I said, there are the 3 main elements. We have the essential skills. You may have heard of these. They used to be called key skills many years ago. To do the framework, you would need to complete communication, application of number, and digital literacy at level 2. There are 3 additional qualifications. However, if you already have GCSEs in English and Maths at grade C or above, then they would act as a proxy. So if you have those and can provide your certificates, we would not expect you to do the communication and the application number, unless of course you wanted to. because if you want to upgrade your skills, you can do. The third one is digital literacy. Now, that is a relatively new qualification, so unless you've already done it, you would be expected to complete this. Again, for obvious reasons, at the moment it is being delivered remotely, and again, it's a level 2 qualification. Useful to have because it's upgraded the old IT qualification into digital responsibility, really, because things have changed over the last few years. The next element, obviously, is the diploma, which is the performance, and then we have the BTEC, which is the knowledge. I'm going to talk to you about the diploma, and Glenn will give you more information on the knowledge element. So for the diploma, you need to be in a position where you can demonstrate quite a high level of autonomy. So it might include things like identifying a complex problem. So not only will you be identifying the problem, you would also be able to show us that you have investigated, you've identified how severe the problem is. Is it a one-off, recurrent? Is it intermittent? What could be the implications of this problem not being solved, and how you would actually assess it, analyse it, and come up with a solution, put your solution into practice. And this is where the level 4 bit comes in. You would then evaluate it, review it. Has your solution worked? If not, why not? If it has, wonderful. And obviously, what else you can do to continue. Apologise, but phone was switched off. You would also need to show us that you are creating information systems or making significant improvements to an existing system, again showing each stage of the process from planning it all the way through to evaluation. There are various steps involved in creating an information system, and we need to know that you've been in a position to follow them all through. Another thing you'd be expected to do at level 4 would be planning and monitoring the workloads of yourself and other people. Now, for this, we'd need to know that you have been able to set key performance indicators so that the people you are monitoring know what standards they're expected to work to. You would monitor these to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and obviously, if not, you will be expected to be showing that you can address any underperformance. This will then lead on to the training and supporting staff. So, as a result of identifying any underperformance, you might be analysing their training needs, as in, do you need to send them on an Excel course, or can you just sit them down in the office and have a chat and run through a system with them? So you would analyse the training needs and actually put the training into place as is appropriate for what they actually need. And because it's a level 4, you would also need to show that you could deal with conflict. Now, we're not talking about stand-up fisticuffs here. What we can mention with conflict is things like it could be conflict of systems, it could be departments wanting different information at different times, and how you've poured the oil on the troubled water and solved the problem and basically negotiated to get everybody happy and to the right level. Now, some of the actual units within the MVQ or the diploma are resolve administrative problems, which is what we've just talked about, manage the work of an admin function. There is a mandatory unit called communicate in a business environment. So obviously that is communicating verbally and in writing. And all of these qualifications have a unit about managing your personal and professional development. Well, the fact that you're actually here today would be included in the managed personal and professional development because you're investigating possible progression routes. We have other units such as managing information systems, monitor information systems, manage events, prepare specifications for contract. There are units about sustainability and environmental issues, managing physical resources, developing and implementing an operational plan, managing team performance, lots of units to choose. Because they are credit-based qualifications, you need to get a minimum of 57 credits from different boxes, if you like, within the overview. It's our job to make sure that you're doing the right level of credits, the right number of credits from the right sections. So before you actually sign up, we would really like to do an informal interview with you, whether it's over the telephone or whether we do it on Google Meet or something like that, because obviously we need to make sure you're going to be able to meet all of the criteria and that your employment will provide you with the opportunities to meet these criteria before we sign you up. So how does it work? Well, you are assessed on your performance and knowledge using your day-to-day tasks as evidence with supporting documents from your workplace. Now, I know one of the main issues with things like that is confidentiality. We're not expecting you to give details of your pricing structure or your customers or anything like that. We will just need something to authenticate your work. Now, you can provide screenshots where you can blank out personal information. You can show your assessors. They can then say, yes, I have seen this, because obviously anything they see or hear in your workplace, they don't discuss outside anyway. You can be observed. So I know it's difficult at the moment, but we can observe you using video calling technology. We just have to be careful of what's going on in the background. We can even handwrite an observation these days and upload it to your electronic portfolio. So during your day, you'd be gathering evidence, looking at the unit that you're concentrating on. You can do a written reflective account, as we call it, or a case study to tell us how you have dealt with something. So if, for example, it is a complex admin problem that you've solved, that's something that's not going to happen overnight. It may take 2 or 3 months to come to fruition. So you could write a reflective account based on how you identified the problem, how you investigated, assessed, analysed, etc. We can have a taped discussion. So you can tell us how you've done something and we can record it. You can even record it yourself and upload it to your electronic portfolio. And each unit will have a small element of knowledge, which again, depending on the way you prefer to learn and prefer to provide your evidence, you could write your answers, or, as I say, you could even record yourself, just talking to your phone, record it and upload it to your e-portfolio. Your assessor can then listen to it, read it, whatever, and give you any feedback. So if there are any sections that you might need to expand on, they can ask you questions, or they can set you another task if you like to be able to do that. We're using an e-portfolio called OneFile, which is relatively new. We've been using it for about 12 months. So we're all currently still learning everything about it, but it is really, really good, and it's been an absolute godsend during lockdown, because it's meant that we have been able to keep people progressing with their qualifications through the wonders of the internet, really. Now, with regards to some of your knowledge elements, because this is a level 4 qualification, we will expect you to do some research. Now, we're not leaving you at the mercy of Mr. Google. We do point you in the right direction so that you're not wasting time, looking at every Google answer. But when you are referencing your work, or when you are using this research, we do expect you to create a reference list so that we know where you've got the information from. And because we want to avoid plagiarism, you are never, never, ever allowed to copy and paste, because we need to know that you can't just copy and paste, but you actually understand what you've read and can put it in the context of your own role. You have to remember all the way through, this is a level 4 qualification, it's foundation degree level, and we have to adhere to this. At the moment, for obvious reasons, as I said, our visits are being conducted remotely, but when we do get back into the normal world, if we will, then we will come out and see you in your workplace to conduct a remote visit, where we will look at what you've done, etc., and we can ask questions, and we can usually pick up on other things that are going on as well. So that's everything that I've got you about with the MVQ. If there are any questions, if you would like to put them in the chat, or just let me know. I will now hand over to Glenn, and Glenn will talk to you about the taught element of it, which is the BTEC Professional Diploma in Business Administration. So over to you, Glenn.
Okay, thanks, Sue. Morning, everybody who's watching. Just before we move on to the knowledge element, Claire, have we got any questions so far?
Hiya. No, nothing coming through so far. We've just had a few issues with the sound on my end. Okay. So I was just going to chat you. I think you might have some delegates that need letting in. So if you could maybe do that. Hannah sent an email. I don't know how we can do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to slink back into the background now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Claire. So as we're moving on to the knowledge element, I want to thank Sue for giving the introduction to the framework, level 4 BA framework. You might have listened to her and thought, oh my God, what am I going to get myself into, and how much work have I got to do, and why do I need to do them all? Completing the ESWs, the actual MVQ or the QCF itself, and the knowledge element gives you a full-rounded set of skills to enable you to move forward and progress into the start on the management rung. Senior level gives you the skills that you actually need then to progress forward through into your job role and higher up the ladder, either in the organisation you're currently in, or if you're looking to move to other qualifications and another employment as well. So moving on to the knowledge element. Why do we need the knowledge element? I do my job on a day-to-day basis. Yep, you might do, but we do become complacent. I've been in a job role for quite some time, so having this to be able to adapt to situations, understanding why we're adapting to situations, we also need to understand and have the background knowledge to enable us to do that. So that's where the knowledge element comes in. We have a number of elements to do. It's 6 elements in total, and they're assignment based. We set it out originally a day in the college, about once or twice a month. Due to the current situation, we've now chomped that down, where we actually set up a session, an hour and a half to 2 hours, once a fortnight, where you join online using an appropriate platform that you're able to work and you can use to gain that information. And it's an informal teaching session, so where it allows you to actually link with other students from other organisations, and you can relay experiences and examples of how you can get the knowledge. So who is this particular qualification or part qualification for? So again, it's part of the HA framework, the Higher Apprenticeship framework, and it is a package. And you might be sitting out there thinking, I can't do this at the moment. I haven't got the role quite there, but I would like to step into it. So you can also do this as a standalone a little bit, so that it does give you the knowledge and the solid background to actually put it on your CV, put it forward, get into a role, and then sign up to the full framework, which gives you the higher apprenticeship or equivalent to the foundation degree. So again, like the MVQ, it's staff within a senior administration role. So you have the authority and the autonomy to be able to deal with staff underneath you. The knowledge element gives you the guidance as to why you're doing it, what you're doing it, why you're using policies and procedures, why do they need to be changed and continually updated, why do you need to train staff. One of the particular elements we look at is communication, and you might think, what do I want to know about communication? I've been doing it for X amount of years. But we also need to make sure that we're actually selling it, that we're actually delivering and supporting people, staff, colleagues, clients, the public, in the correct manner, using the appropriate communication skills, the appropriate platforms and the appropriate mediums. Whilst if we're able to do that, then we can actually, the culture then becomes the same further down, and the staff you're training or staff you're responsible for will behave in the same manner therefore being professional. Staff with a high level of autonomy, staff who have the ability and authority to review systems. So again, it's the same as the MVQ. It's being able to have your input and actually set out to get things in place to improve and become more efficient. A lot of recent students that have been doing their MVQ and their knowledge element have taken advantage really of the COVID-19 situation, because they've had to change the way they work and they've had to encourage their staff, and they have become proactive rather than reactive about everything. And they've got people online supporting people from working from home, making sure their systems are working, making sure their well-being is supported. And that's really important from a senior role to make sure that's happening. So staff who support and monitor and manage the workloads of colleagues, because the workload has changed in this current climate. You're expected to manage your own workload, because most of us are working from a bedroom or a little office or somewhere in the house, and you don't have that connection. So being able to control and manage and sort that and support others, it is vitally important to have those skills to enable you to do that. So allowing you to come online, talk through these situations, and then write up in your assignment, giving your opinion, using research to see what other methods are available. Recently, I had one of my learners who's just gone through it, who hadn't heard of something like a balanced scorecard or a TQM, which was vital. And she said it was so important that she'd learnt it, because now she was going to take it away and have a look to see if it would make her department, her area, more efficient. Moving on to the end of the course, so that's the knowledge element, 6 units in total, cut down into tasks and assignments. You will be given an assignment brief, which will tell you what's expected of you. Currently, there is no word count, but there is a limit. I do stress there is a limit. It needs to be concise. It needs to be relevant, not waffle. You need to show that you've understood the theory. In order to get the theory, I'd just like to mention that if you're working online and you can access the college system with your SIS number or student number, you could also then link into your Google Suite that you've got, which gives you a set of where you can access research material using that system. So you do have access to all your reading materials through the Google Suite as well online. Obviously, there is the libraries that you can use, and you can contact them because they will sort out books for you if you need books. And obviously, as Sue stated, the Google Internet. Google Scholar is quite a good one as well to use. That gives you the papers that you require, genuine, real-life papers that have been written that you can read through. People do use Wiki. It's not recommended, but I do suggest if you're a person that likes Wikipedia, that's fine. But make sure that when you've researched the document on Wiki, you've also looked for the original document, just to make sure you've got the right document. And you've referenced the Wiki one as well as the original one, because then we know that you do understand you've got an up-to-date version, not an amended version of whatever's been put on there. So those are ways of getting your information out to read and then to put into your assignment. That's it in a nutshell for the knowledge elements. It's quite a big package that you need to complete, but it is a worthwhile package as a higher apprentice. It does, as I said before, give you the full grounding to move forward, progress on to a higher level. Possibly a couple of mine have recently completed, and they're moving on to do higher things, management level, because they've got that in the background behind them. They've got that on the certificate. As I said, you can do it standalone. Don't panic if you can't do the full framework and you think, I just really would like to have a level 4 qualification to get me started. The BTEC is available through funding, and that can be discussed through email or through a chat or a meeting or a Google meeting when you're ready. So how long does the course take? Currently, it's run over 2 years. completely funded by the Welsh Government. So it's an opportunity that can't really be missed. It doesn't come round often. As you know, the university fees, if you're going to university, are quite high. You end up coming out of this course with a full certificate, a couple of certificates. Your skills are rounded because you have then an up-to-date digital literacy skill course certification. Your application and number is given a little bit of a boost if you haven't done anything with it for a while, like me. It's something I avoid like a plague. And also your communication skills are improved as well, along with the two courses. So 2 years and funded by the government. So it's worthwhile looking into and taking with two hands, I think. Time, it can be done quicker if you have the means, if you have the ability and your determination. People have been known to do it quicker. It's up to you. What I do ask is you set some time aside every week, a couple of hours every week, either to look at it from an MVQ point of view and gather all your evidence, supporting evidence such as emails or whatever you're talking about in each particular unit, or to set a time aside just to look at research and then write up your assignments. I would say definitely a couple of hours a week, not in work, out of work. Now, this is where I need to stress it's a qualification. As you would be in university or as you would be in college, you need to consider that you have to give the time outside of the working time as well, to enable you to get all the work and all the information together. It's independent study. So once you've had your sessions with myself, once you've had your session with your tutor and your assessor, you are expected to go away and work on and submit work before the following review meeting or before the following session. Okay, I'll have a look at some questions in a minute if I can, or Sue can have a look at the questions. So it's independent study. There are strict deadlines that we like to adhere to. We try and keep strict deadlines for the MVQ. Job roles and tasks change, but make sure your assessor is kept in the loop. Make sure your line manager who is supporting you is kept in the loop. In regards to the BTEC element, we try to keep, and we have done so far, even in lockdown, we've managed to sort of keep to the deadlines for each of the assignments that have been handed in. Because I feel once you start slipping out of those deadlines, it becomes overwhelming. And then it gets to be a bit of a struggle. So if you keep yourself to your times, your study times at home, gathering information when you're in work as you're doing your jobs, it does become easier. And don't forget, the more you put into your evidence, the more you put into your assignments, the more you get out of them. One by one, they will link into other units, and one by one, you will have less to do as you're going through the qualification. Job role, again, Sue's gone over this. Just make sure when you sign up that you are in the correct job role so that you are able to cover all the criteria that you need to cover. It's nothing worse than getting in, picking a unit and then suddenly realise you can't do that particular role. So just go through it with your assessor, go through it with your line manager, even if it's sitting down with all three together and checking what your role is, what your role is going to be in 6 months, what your role is going to be in 12 months, so that you know you're able to go through the qualification from start to finish. Commitment, 100%, ensuring all assignments are prepared and uploaded by the deadline as much as possible. And that's it in a nutshell. Any questions from anybody so far?
Yes, we have got a question that's come in from somebody who's doing a work and life skills course in Coleg Meirion Dwyfor, but would like to do the higher apprenticeship in the foreseeable future. And the question is, are you roughly able to tell me in how many years this will happen? Well, I'm not quite sure I understand the question fully, but our funding with regards to the Welsh Government usually changes in August. So we know what we've got for the next 12 months at least. So that means that you would be able to sign up to this particular apprenticeship if you're in the job role, at any point between now and the 31st of July next year, that's 2021, for us to be able to guarantee the funding. You could then start the diploma and the essential skills if needed. We would be working with you, and then the next taught input course will be starting hopefully this October. So if somebody was to want to sign up now, as in August, September this year, we will be inviting them to an induction session in October. Their assessors will then be making contact, because obviously we cover such a wide area. We go all the way down the Llŷn Peninsula, we go as far down, obviously to include Coleg Meirion Dwyfor, and we go as far over as Wrexham, etc. So you can start the MVQ element of it, or the diploma element of it, at any time, and then we will put you on to the next available taught session. I say at the moment we're hoping to start in October, where the taught sessions will begin in November. The actual length of the course is 2 years. You'll be funded for 24 months. Now, as Glenn says, it can be done quicker. If you are working on something in work that is really, really complex, it's going to cover more than one unit at once. So you wouldn't be expected to repeat what you're talking about. We would just expand on it, if you like, to cover other units. 24 months is the limit of the funding, so you will be expected to complete within 24 months, and we know that is definitely doable. It's a good time scale to be able to complete the qualification. I can't think of anything else I need to add on that. Can you think of anything I need to put in there, Glenn?
No, other than it's more than enough. 24 months is a substantial amount now to do it. And it can reach Meirion Dwyfor as well, especially now that we are online rather than teaching in a classroom. It's actually opened up, it's given access to quite a wider range of people from a number of areas. The course is also done bilingually. We have assessors both from Roast site and Bangor site, so we do deliver it bilingually, and deliver the BTEC delivery bilingually as well. So it can be done remotely, and it can be done in the 24 hours. And it is worth looking at if you're wanting to move on once you've done your course that you're on at the moment.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, you can actually start this at any point in the year. The MVQ can be started, like say, as soon as you're ready to sign up. So if you wanted to sign up in January, for example, you could then look at either joining the next BTEC session, or you could wait until the next cohort, which would start the following September, October. If you're looking at just doing the BTEC knowledge element of it, then, you know, obviously we'd like to get you involved as soon as possible, because we're looking to start again in November. So if you're interested in that one, then please get in touch, because we would like to get you signed up, enrolled, etc., ready for our induction day in October. If you're looking at just doing the MVQ on its own, or the diploma, sorry, I'm going to get told off for calling it an MVQ, it's just showing my age, really. If you're looking at doing that one, then again, we can start anytime. So drop us a line, give us a call. You can get through to us in lots of different ways. If you have any questions, if you want to add them to either to the Google Meet or comments on the Facebook, do so. And all I can think of now to say is thank you very much. And if you are considering undertaking one of these, good luck. They are quite enjoyable, and yes, I can say that because I know I've done one of them. So you do learn a lot from them, and it does actually make you realise just what you do in your work and why you do things in certain ways. And obviously we're all looking to improve, so it helps you to identify where you can do something different and maybe do something better. If there are any more questions, if you want to ping them over. If not, I think we can say goodbye. Hand over to Claire to do our closing.
Can I just drop in? There's a question from Mark. Hi, Mark. As we've just stated, you can roll on, roll off with the MVQ. Preferably, it would be nice if you could start at the beginning. We're looking at doing an induction in October, so information can be sent out. If you can drop us an email, we can send you the information as to when the induction will be, and then this will be able to go forward and sign you up. We're starting November on the MVQ. I hope that answers your question that you've just sent in. Thank you. Okay, sorry, Sue.
No, that's fine. Is there anything you'd like to say, Claire?
Oh, hang on.
No?
You're on
Okay.
mute.
Um,
Okay, that's it.
Right, well, thank you very much. And yeah, as I say, good luck and thank you for joining us.